When you hear this, what do you feel? At IMAX, you'll feel transported by our unique sound system and crystal clear images. Like you're running across a desert planet or defending your city from a surprise invasion. With immersive IMAX sound and screens curved to show more, we take fans to the edge of their seats. Get tickets to Dune Part 2 now and experience it in IMAX's exclusive expanded aspect ratio.
Y'all, I've never ran into a boxing family before, so I'm really excited for today's episode, y'all. I have none other than the Big siblings here on my podcast, y'all. We have Christian Biggs and we have Aida Biggs. Y'all, what's going on?
I'm just so excited to be here, and I'm honored to be chosen for the Success Playbook, because that must mean that we've reached some level of success, right, sis?
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. And you know what I'm saying? I'm just glad that you guys recognize it, and we want to keep going. We appreciate y'all having us on y'all's spectacular platform.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, look, I am honored to have y'all too. Listen, let's just jump right on in. The way I like to start my show is I like to play a little game of rapid fire. Are you down for the challenge?
Mm-hmm.
We down.
Okay. All right. So for my new listeners out there, I'm going to present these two with two different topics. They have to choose one and then tell me why they chose their answer. So first things first, very safe. Podcasts or books?
Podcast.
Books. I have to go books.
Okay. Had to switch it up. Okay. So why podcast? And what are you listening to?
I listen to, a lot of audio books, so that kind of eased me into podcasts. They're a little more interactive. I get to feel how different people perceive or process information. So it allows me to think a little more broader than a book would.
Love it.
Mine would be the opposite. I mean, I'm not reading anything right now, but if I were, I just like the, imagination that a book presents itself. Like you can read a book and it could be a million things in your own head. Although I do appreciate a good podcast too, every now and then.
Of course you do, because you love the Success Playbook
exactly. And we love the Revolt Podcast.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay, so the questions are getting more challenging. All right, next question. Martin or Fresh Prince? Dun, dun, dun.
Fresh Prince.
Oh, that was easy for y'all. Okay, explain.
You got this one? I had to go.
Yeah, I think for me, when I did watch Martin, it wasn't. So I'm somebody that the wit. I mean, not saying that Martin's not witty, but I think that the way they wrote Fresh Prince and the way some of the lines were delivered it walked me right into the joke without me realizing it. So if I realize that a joke is coming, I'm more likely to not laugh. But if it just kind of just sneaks in there and catches me by surprise, I'm gonna give you a little chuckle. And Fresh Prince had me with that.
My reasoning is Will Smith. He was just like extraordinary in that role. I really felt like he was a Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I still see him as that sometimes. Like, you can't beat that. So, Martin is a legend, but I got to go with Will on this one.
Yeah.
Y'all just like him because he played Ali in that movie.
You got us.
Awesome. All right. Watching a boxing match or actually fighting in the ring?
Fighting
in the ring. More exciting.
Fighting.
Yeah?
Yeah, fighting in the ring. Nothing beats that. Like, you might got to come to the gym with us maybe sometime so you can feel a bit of that exhilaration. But when you're in there, it's nothing beats it. It's nothing more exciting to win. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
Nothing more exciting than win a boxing match.
It's not fun to lose or to be in something very super tough and you're losing on the, not on the winning end. But when you're in there and things are going your way, and even when you have some adversity, but you're overcoming it, that's the best feeling.
I love that. All right. Thank y'all for playing my game.
That's a great game. It was an awesome game.
More.
Awesome. All right. Well, let's dig into who you all are. So tell me a little bit about who you are, your background, where you're from, all the things. I want to know all about y'all.
Okay.
Ladies first.
My name is Aida Biggs Daniel. I just recently got married, so I changed. Well, I hyphenated my last name. So I'm recently married. I'm 30 years old. I'm a professional boxer, 30 years old. Professional boxer 2-0. I was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. I lived in Florida for a little while with my dad, our dad, who passed away from pancreatic cancer in 2015. So that really helped to mold us and, we have a lot of his ideals and a lot of his personality. So he was a go-getter, very like innovative, very much, a man's man. And so I think that's why I'm kind of an alpha girl, and I try to follow what I remember him teaching us, and my mom as well. So we just kind of trudge through life, just seeing how we can get better, do better in our career as just young Black people, as entrepreneurs, and every way possible. But we center God and everything, and pretty much just family and everything. Very close knit.
She didn't leave too much for me there, but I'm 27. I'm engaged, beautiful fiance, podcaster, professional boxer. We're starting a couple businesses as well. We're very deep into business, and a lot of our ventures are centered around helping our community and inspiring the people around us, and also letting everybody know that everything that we have and everything we are and represent that's good, it comes from God, it comes from Jesus. It about wraps up. We're active people. We like to play sports. Just play sports weekly. We're relatively into social media, a good amount, healthy amount. But yeah, that's about us. The Biggs family, man. Boxing is probably the biggest thing that you probably take away from the whole situation.
Yeah. I hear it. I hear boxing. I hear family, how you all value family, and how you all value your relationship with God. So that's amazing. Yeah,
absolutely. I'm sure you can relate in a few ways, huh?
Absolutely. Yeah. And I love how it's consistent though. Like I see it with all the siblings, even with Justin, who's not here in his bio, he has God first. So you all were raised right. So big shout out to your parents. Yes.
Yeah. If we don't mention it when we see mom next time, she'll definitely let us know about it. So
I'm here for it. Okay. So did you all always have a love for sports or for boxing particularly?
Yeah. Our dad trained our older brother. I have two older brothers older than Justin. So we have 4 boys total. And one of our eldest brothers, he was a very prominent boxer in New York, Brooklyn. So before I even got to really get a grasp of what the world was, I knew what boxing was. I knew what being at a fight was like, being at the gym, and all the really great things that came with it. Because as a kid, that's more of what you see. But it's always been a focal point. There's never really been a period of time where I didn't know what boxing was. Like some of my first memories were being at fights.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, it was pretty much like he said, some of our first memories are just like boxing, being at the gym. Like my dad would come to pick us up from school and then we headed straight to the gym. We're kind of just always in the atmosphere. So it wasn't really new. The only new thing was me boxing. Like I didn't really expect that.
That was new.
To actually be a boxer. I just knew I was going to be around it,
At what age did you pick up boxing?
I was 18 when I started boxing.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Well, actually, I keep telling people I was 18. I think I was 17 because I was still in high school. No, I was 18. I turned 18 already because I have an early birthday in January. So that like second half of my senior year, I was 18. And my brother Justin, the one who's 2 years older than me, I'm 2 years older than him. So we're 2 years apart each, just the 3 of us. But he was at the gym. And Justin's a very much like family oriented person as well, like you could tell. So if he goes to the gym, he wants you in the gym too. He said, "You coming to the gym? You coming to the gym?" So he kept doing that to me. And then I was in the gym, and then I was just like, I might as well just like get in shape, pick up some gloves, see what I could do. But I still at that point didn't see it as, a career path. I just saw it as exercise, fitness, just, finding my roots, learning how to fight, self-defense. And then it became like a love for it, and it became more like serious as I went on.
I started when I was, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I started when I was 11. I started competing when I was 11 years old. So I've been training for a couple of years before that. But most boxers that take it very seriously, they start really young. But she just happened to be a natural. Like as soon as she picked up the gloves, she was like knocking out men and stuff. So that's just, you can't hide that talent.
You said knocking out men?
Yeah. She's not.
I'm here for it.
No, she's knocked out at least 2 grown men in the gym.
Wow.
Yeah, and women.
Does it have anything to do with being raised around brothers?
Oh yeah, because I was always hitting people. growing up. Always hit Chris. I'm hitting Justin. I'm hitting their friends.
She was my first bully. She was my first bully.
I'm actually, of the three of us, me, Justin, and Chris, I'm the more assertive one. And I always kind of have been. I've always been like
still is.
Like the rowdy rough boy kind of, you know?
Mm-hmm.
They were more like chill, laid back. Yeah. And I was like, we're going to do this, you know, like, or if somebody, I'm the type to like jump on a bully's back or something, over my brothers. So I always kind of been like, I guess, dauntless, is that the right word in a way?
I guess so. If you know what that means, it's the right word.
I'm here for it. Okay. So, and we kind of talked about like how you all were raised. So give me one like core philosophy that each of you can say that you live by.
I'd definitely say something that we definitely take from our father, which is that we can literally do anything. As cheesy and cliche as that sounds, I'm not saying that if you've never studied, how to be an astronaut, you could be an astronaut. But if something is proven to be a talent for you, or you take a liking to, have a passion for it, definitely go for that thing. Because and it's funny because it's not like he would say that in words. He wouldn't straight up say you can do anything. Mm-hmm. He would show you that. He would show you that if you picked up something new at 50 years old, he'll be obsessed about that thing until he allows it to see its end. And it taught me to do that and everything that I do. Like if I pick something up, I better take it as far as I could take it. He's also the kind of dad that I remember one year I said I wanted to play baseball. And he took that very seriously. I did too. I thought like, all right, I'm 14. I'll try a new sport. I tried it and I didn't know I wouldn't like take baseball serious until I tried to watch it on TV. I tried to watch it and I was so bored that I was like, oh, there's no way. But he, as my dad, he was buying the equipment. He was like, yeah, you better use his equipment. Like you better take it serious. And I was like, well, I thought it was just a summer baseball, but definitely take things serious. That's what I took away from him.
Yeah. I would say that. So I really liked the movie The Best Man. So I was watching The Best Man too. And they had asked the main character, Lance, what does he live by or whatever. And I remember he said, God, family, football. Mm-hmm. So I'm just going to go with that. We're going to substitute boxing. I think. God, family, boxing. That's how I just try to live my life.
Yeah. Love that. So I want to pivot to this next segment, which is called Put Some Respect on My Name. Mm-hmm. Now, for all of our listeners who are out there who may not be familiar with who you are, I would love to hear a little bit more about some of your career highlights. I believe that you both are undefeated. So this is your opportunity to brag on yourself. So let's go. Let's hear it.
Go ahead.
Okay. I brag on myself. I won the Metros in 2017 as an amateur. I started my professional career with only 5 fights, which is kind of different. Most people have much more experience when they start. So it's kind of like a test of bravery for me. I have a belt as a pro. I'm ranked number 5 in the world for my weight class. What else? I don't know. I guess to brag on myself, I guess I'm a little bit of a phenom in that way. Like I'm just, talent has taken me pretty far in the sport, farther than I thought I would go.
I'll add on to one of her accolades.
Yes.
Not widely known as one of the best female fighters today, Clarissa Shields. She had a sparring partner who at the time wasn't a champion, who became a champion later. But long story short, her name is Shadeja Green. And she, Aida got the honor to spar her. And after the sparring, she went on saying that Aida was like the best female fighter she's ever been in there with. And this is someone that's been in there with the best, been on the USA team. And today actually did she contend for the championship or did she win it, Aida?
She contended.
She contended for a championship early last year, I believe.
Yeah. Very last year.
So that's one of her accolades for sure.
Oh, I'm adding one more thing.
Go ahead, one more.
I'm also a trainer as well. I only have Justin and Chris under my stable right now, which are my brothers.
Mm-hmm.
But so
far, how many wins?
Yeah, so far we're at 15-0. So I'm 15-0 as a trainer. meaning they won all their fights, having me as the second coach, Yoel Judah as the head coach.
That's amazing. Congrats.
Thank you.
Yeah, she's doing it.
Yeah, she is. She is. It is women's Women's History Month, right? Yeah. She's making history. Now it's my turn, right? Okay. One being, having the opportunity to create a podcast on Revolt Podcast Network with my brother, Justin Biggs. I also won the New York City Metropolitan Championship in 2017 alongside her. And that was actually a pretty tough tournament. I turned professional with only 11 fights. And after taking 5 years off due to consecutive injuries. So I had to actually take a break at 21 and come back at 25, 26. And last year I won 7 fights straight in like about 6 months, which is most fighters don't even fight that often. Period. So
7 fights, 7 knockouts too.
7 fights, 7 knockouts. And and we're still going.
Yeah.
That's huge. Can we just clap it up for the big family that's out here like doing their thing? Let's put some respect on y'all's names, for real, for real. So I want to pivot a little bit, and I wanted to ask you all a little bit about, just some advice. But before we do that, I would love to hear how you define success. Like, what is your individual definition of success?
This is interesting because we were having a conversation about this the other day. Me personally, I define success as, I think that it's a little more concrete. For me, it's pretty concrete. If I could, if the average person would look at me and think that maybe I need some help, I don't feel like I'm successful, But if they look at me and think that I can help them, then I think that I'm at some level of success. I'll put it that way.
I think that success is just like happiness. I would say like they kind of coincide. I would view success as in like what are the things in my life that I can have or obtain or grow to that are going to make me happy. And then once I reach that level of happiness, I would consider myself to be successful, because now life is not like a chore. It's something that I'm a willing participant inside of this thing called life, So for me, I'm also a pretty much concrete thinker as well. So for me, that would be money, love, happiness, children, health, and like wellness and just, financial security, freedom, and just be able to do something. For me, that would be boxing or, I like beauty, things that I can do without restriction, But, when it comes to money and stuff like that, I would like my time to be dealt, fulfilling my purpose and things that make me completely happy. So that would be successful.
If I could add something on too, I just feel like there's a baseline. Like in today's day and age, there's a lot of information out there, and everyone wants to start their own this and start their own that. But I do feel like there is a baseline that we should meet and be able to take care of ourselves and be able to, eventually help our parents and the people older than us. If we put ourselves in that position first, then we're definitely headed in the right direction. I think that sometimes it gets a little misconstrued. People want to hustle their way into their destiny instead of just working hard and building a solid foundation and maybe doing the things that aren't so glamorous first.
That's real. You said people want to hustle their way into success.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
I see that very often. Yeah. A lot of, trying to make something work without a real foundation.
Yeah.
You got to build that first. Definitely.
No, that's real. Those are both some great answers. So on the opposite side of success, we have, of course, failure. So yes. I would love to hear about backstory. I wrote a book called The Art of Taking L's, right?
Absolutely.
So I would love to hear about an L you may have taken. Of course, we don't believe we take L's. They're lessons we learned. Mm-hmm. But I would love to hear about an L that you may have taken that pushed you or thrusted you into your next level.
I can remember L is a loss at the end of the day. I can remember, this is the L that I share with my family. It's losing our father together. That was the most impactful moment of my life. And it changed me. It made me really realize what was important. That certain things that I thought were important were not important at all. And that with the time I have left, I need to make sure that I live my life as fulfilled as I possibly can in the memory of my father. So that was I say my L that I took that thrusted me into being more of the person who I am today.
Mm-hmm. I would have to agree with that. And I think you did a good job of explaining that, because it was just a really rough time. Looking back on it from the outside looking in, I guess we could have expected it. But when you see when you're in the midst of someone that's kind of like, I guess like being physically deteriorated by a disease because he died of cancer, you really didn't know that he was going to die. So we really didn't know until I want to say it didn't click for me until maybe a few days before. Although if you saw him at that state, you would have known. But we didn't know. So it kind of came as like a shocker a little bit because we were in denial. So going from, having to just switch those emotions so fast to thinking like how he would want us to think was kind of a transition. But it helped us to grow up a little bit faster, which was what we needed in that time. Because if, we did have him to still be here, it would have been amazing. But he did instill us with so much information and knowledge that it's okay.
So much love, yeah.
Yes, he knows that we're going to be okay. So it helped to propel us forward.
Yeah, well, I know y'all are definitely making him proud.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. I would love to hear maybe one word of advice to our audience as we wrap up from each of you. You both are trailblazers, especially you, Aida. This is Women's History Month, and you're putting on for the women who are athletes. So I would love to hear from you first. Yes, come on. I would love to hear from you first.
You said a word of advice?
Yeah.
I think a word of advice to other female athletes would be that I think being a female athlete is so diverse. You're going to meet so many different types of women along the way, but all of us are still talented in what we do in our own way. And I don't want women who feel like they're girly girls to shy away from sports because they don't want to gain muscle or look a certain way or seem to be too masculine or vice versa. I want them to understand it's an avenue for everybody. And that, if it's your passion, then go for it and don't worry about being judged in it, because if you just follow your path and what God has for you, you're going to come out on the other side much better, much more confident, and just a better, well-rounded woman at the end of the day.
Love it.
Thank you.
Yeah, so word of advice that I have, there's a couple of them, but I'd say one of them is to not take things personally when they come. Take road rage, for instance. Someone cuts you off, you think they definitely did it just because they don't like you, but probably has nothing to do with you. Just to take things in stride, take a deep breath, stay calm, try to keep our cool so that nothing can knock us off our paths. Because that's how the enemy gets you. He tries to get you where you least expect it, and sometimes it's through your family members, sometimes it's through your, significant other, but, stay prayed up. Don't take anything personally and keep moving forward no matter what.
Love it. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
One last thing to wrap up. Can y'all teach me a basic boxing move for beginners? Just real quick.
Oh yeah. Okay. I got it. Okay. Yeah. So you right-handed or left-handed?
Right-handed.
Okay. So if you're right-handed, then you would fight with your left hand first. Okay. You fight with your left hand first. That's very, very basic. Because your backhand is your power hand, right? Okay. So basically, this would be your front hand, and this would be your jab hand. So
the left hand.
And if I were to break boxing down for you, 1, 2, it's this hand to set up your power hand, right? This front hand, set up your power hand with a jab. This is a jab. There we go. Poke it out, and then leave it out for a second. All right, leave it right there. So now as you pull your front hand back, you release your backhand forward, and you would basically switch that momentum and the power into the backhand. like that. That's pretty good. Not bad. I know you got the mic in the way. If it wasn't for the mic, it'd have been perfect technique.
Knock somebody out. Yeah.
It cold.
Natural.
I'd have been out cold.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. I feel so empowered, y'all.
You're welcome.
Awesome. Well, listen, where can we find you all?
You can find me on Instagram at Kristen.
What's good, y'all? It's Aaliyah from the Young and Dumb Show. I have something for you. If you're young and interested in learning more about different careers, becoming an entrepreneur, and really get into the bag, then be sure to check out and subscribe to the Young and Dumb Show. On this show, we sit down with the biggest, and I'm talking the biggest, career professionals, entrepreneurs, influencers, and entertainers to break down how to be successful in different industries. It's brought to you exclusively by the Revolt Podcast Network, anchored in hip-hop, powered by creators. Let's get it, y'all.
D_Angelo. Where can they find you, Edie?
You can find me on all platforms. Instagram, TikTok now, and Bigo now at Aida, AIDA, .WITH.love. Mm-hmm. Love spelled the standard way. Yeah.
Awesome. And y'all, this is our Revolt Podcast Network family. So they also have a podcast on the network, Biggs versus Biggs.
You got to come on.
You coming
I
over?
got to come on.
Okay.
I'm pulling up.
Okay.
All right.
Let's wrap this up so I can head on over.
All right.
All right. See y'all. Thank you.
Thank you for having us so much. Thank you.
What's up, world? It's your boy Big Court from the Holding Court Podcast. If you're a fan of authentic interviews with legendary artists and notable people in the culture, subscribe to the Holding Court Podcast. See, we a show that cover artist interviews, hip-hop culture, lifestyle, and current topics. We got the D-boys and the B-boys. See, HCP is where the streets and black excellence meet, and is brought to you exclusively by the Revolt Podcast Network, anchored in hip-hop, powered by creators.